July 15, 2024. Great to be with all of you today. My name is Bob Lang, and it's time for our daily bites. We do these every Monday and Thursday morning, roughly around 8:30, 8:45. Talk about the markets, the economy, any data that we need to discuss, any events that happened over the weekend, and so forth, and see how it kind of affects how we do in the marketplace. So obviously, a lot of people know what happened over the weekend. There was an event, an attempted assassination on former President Trump over the weekend, and markets are seemingly a little uncertain about what's going on right now. But of course, we have to remember that the markets move on their own. The dynamic that we've seen with the markets lately, especially with the small cap stocks over the past couple of days, has been very bullish and very strong. There was no particular reason why that could not continue on today and maybe in the next couple of days. We could certainly attribute Thursday's action in small caps to some short covering, but remember something, short covering often leads to the start of rallies, right? So perhaps this is the start of a new rally. If today is another up session, it'll be the third strong day in a row for the small caps. And we can see here, looking at the numbers here, the small caps Russell 2000 up almost 1% already this morning. The SPY S&P 500 up about 1/3%. Nasdaq up 100 points, which is about a little less than 0.5%. Dow Industrials a little bit better than that. So we'll see what happens. And Dow Industrials, of course, made a new all-time high last week, closed right at 40,000, and which is for the first time ever. So that was a big milestone for that index. Quite a bit of earnings coming out this week. Of course, last week, you know that last Friday we had earnings from JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citigroup. Those numbers were good, but as we've recently discussed, these stocks and some other banks had already shot up higher into the print. So no surprise to see a little bit of a pullback in some of those names, but maybe after another week or two, when they get their footing down at lower prices, we might see them start moving higher. The earnings were very good last week. This morning we had Goldman Sachs and BlackRock came out with earnings, and they were good. They beat, especially Goldman Sachs, beat the snot out of the revenue number, and it was initially taking off, but maybe some of the might be a little bit of hair on some of the numbers. So it is pulled off the highs here. Let's see what it's doing this morning. Still up about $4.5. So we'll see where that goes. I think that bodes well for tomorrow's earnings from Morgan Stanley. That's the name that I'm going to be looking at today. As it relates to earnings reports, I'm not going to be spending a lot of effort looking at earnings reports before the report comes out. And why is that? It's because, like I said earlier, a lot of stocks have gone up a lot in the past 6.5, 7 weeks. Perhaps set for perfection, right? And what ends up happening is that there's a little bit of disagreement or a little bit of a challenge on their earnings or on their expectations. Stocks are going to get hit pretty hard. I think there's going to be some opportunity opening up after earnings reports come out. And you know me, I do like to get in front of earnings. If the chart is there, if the performance is there, if the fundamentals are looking strong, looking bold as well too, I would say that Morgan Stanley and Interactive Brokers, which will report tomorrow, kind of fall into that category. So those are two I'm going to be looking at. Of course, later on this week, we'll have names like Netflix coming out, Taiwan Semi. Taiwan Semi is one that I'm already long, already have some position in that one. And I'll be watching that one very, very closely. I think they're going to have some good earnings and guidance. Apple got another couple of upgrades today. It's up about $4.50. Incredible run this stock has been on. ASM Lithography coming out later on this week on Wednesday morning. We'll be watching that one. American Express Friday morning before the market opens. And then we'll have, a host of other names like United Airlines, like Interactive Brokers tomorrow, Bank of America in the morning tomorrow, Discover, Equifax, Infosys. So a whole host of names. Of course, the big technology earnings releases will be ramping up next week. In fact, the next 2 weeks, the last week of July and then the last week and a half of July and the first week, a couple of days of August. Don't forget Fed meetings coming up in about 2 2 weeks and 2 days. It'll be on the Fed decision. Next Fed decision will be on July 31st. But as far as this week's concerned, again, we're going to be really focused in on earnings this week and some of the manufacturing data that's going to be coming out along with the housing data this week. I want to show you a couple of charts as well too. First off, I want to show you how overbought the market is right now, right? And we have to be worried and concerned, even though you know, the small caps have been leading the parade, and you can see over here. This is the McClellan report. Oscillator 196 on the New York Stock Exchange, Nasdaq 270. Put that into context. We haven't had these high numbers, high readings in several months. So it is a pretty overbought market right now. But you know, overbought does not mean we sell, right? Overbought is a condition. It's not a trigger. It's a signal and tells you where things are at and to be prepared and ready for a reversal at any point. So again, overbought is not necessarily a reason to sell, just like oversold is not necessarily a reason to buy. We have to wait till things roll over first. I also want to show you a report from Larry McMillan last week. Larry's a good friend of mine. He shows something called the stocks only data. This is the breadth, and you can see how poor the breadth was from the middle of June up until last week, right? So we had everything was flip-flopping, right? We had a couple of positives, a couple of negatives, positive, negative, negative, positive, positive, negative, positive, positive, negative. You get the point. Until last Thursday and Friday, look how strong this breadth was, 2,400 and 3,400. And we ended up hitting all-time highs on the cumulative volume breadth indicator. So that generally means that new highs in the indices tend to follow. And there we go. We had the SP 500, the Nasdaq, which have been making new highs for the past 2 weeks. We finally had the Dow Industrials also hit a new high. The Russell 2000, a good 5 to 7% away from an all-time high. 225 or 226, I believe, is where it needs to go to get to an all-time high. So we may get that one over the next couple of weeks, reaching out there. Now, what is helping small cap stocks? It's got to be interest rates, right? Lower interest rates are certainly extremely helpful to small cap stocks to keep moving upwards. If interest rates continue to fall, and when they did after the inflation reports last week on Thursday and Friday, then we could get a continued move upwards in small cap stocks. IWM is where you want to be and have your money at. So last couple of charts I want to show you here. Nasdaq, or the Nasdaq new highs and lows. Look at that surge in the new highs and lows, plus 289. We haven't had that kind of level since March. We had a good positive move on Thursday and a follow-through day on Friday on this. This indicator is extremely bullish right now. Also the NYHL, which is the New York Stock Exchange, new highs and lows. And you can see it printed a lot of new highs on Thursday and Friday. So if a stock makes a new high, it counts in the print, right? It doesn't necessarily mean where it closes at. So if it goes up, stock new all-time high is 100 and it closes at 98, it counts as a new high on this indicator over here, but it doesn't necessarily hit on the close, right? So the closing number on the New York Stock Exchange, not quite as good as the Nasdaq as we saw yesterday or Friday, but still high prints over here are very bullish for the markets. High prints mean that we've had good, strong breadth of good, stocks making new highs versus new lows, and that is a progressive move, and it's been happening for about a couple of weeks over here, and it's starting to really expand. So once it expands, you see a lot more money flow coming in to stocks chasing after these names. So I think that's going to be it, everyone. Be looking for again. I was looking for some names to play this week. I'm going to take a look at Morgan Stanley. There's one right there. Taiwan Semi is another one. Again, making higher highs and higher lows. This is your textbook pattern of an uptrend, right? That's what it is. Okay, higher highs, higher lows. Channel is in place. So there we go. And we've got some really good volume on this name. So I suspect that this is going to continue on, even if it pulls back a little bit, I'm willing to step in there and add on the pullback. So I think it's going to be it, everyone. Have a great day. I appreciate everyone spending a little bit of time with me. Hopefully you guys get a chance to send this out to everybody, to share it. And I'll see you guys all back on Thursday morning. And hopefully we'll have some better things more positive things to talk about on that day. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Have a great one, and good trading. And if you're in the chat room, I will see you there. Thanks. Oh, one more thing. Forgot to mention, webinar coming up Thursday after the close, the mental game of trading. So look for that sign up. I'll be putting the link out there more on social media this week and also in the chat room. So that'll be Thursday, July 18th after the close. Don't miss that one. It's a new webinar that I'm putting together. I'm hoping you guys will really enjoy that one. So it's a little bit of opportunity for us to learn about how to handle the mental side of trading as well too. So thanks, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you guys all on Thursday. Take care. Bye.